Queens get the money. Queens get the money. Queens get the money. Queens get the money, yeah. I'ma knock it out the park with this one. I'ma knock it out the park with this one, yeah. I'ma knock it out the park with this one. Queens get the money. Queens get the money.
Welcome to Queens Get the Money. My name is Barry Grant Jr. We have a special guest today. Silent Assassin is here. How you doing, Nicole?
Pretty good. How about everyone else?
We're good. I mean, the Mets won today, so I guess we can feel good. Tom, sir, how are you feeling, Mr. Positive?
Well, as we know that like I'm like if we can get one good week of baseball away from believing that we can be back in this. So they won today. So the Knicks are on right above me, so I'm a little antsy, but that's not Mets related, so who cares?
Listen, you separate the two. That's how we do things. You don't conflate things.
It's all blue and orange.
Well, yeah. Don't jinx yourself with Met problems in the Knicks.
Yeah.
We have a special guest here. Ernest Dove Jr., how are you doing, sir? Welcome to Queens Get the Money. It's a pleasure to have you. You are the minor league guru. I just want to tell you that right now. Like we watch your stuff. I watch your stuff all the time. I'm always on X, and I whatever Ernest says, I'm gonna go with. That's my type of thing. So welcome to the show, man. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me, man. First time, so I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess we can kind of talk about the Mets game briefly. They win 7-1 today. Really woke up. The bats woke up in that fourth inning. Freddie Peralta looked pretty good. Kind of shaky a couple of innings, but then he kind of found his stride. So, what were your takeaways from this game, Ernest? Like, did you see any positives, especially because obviously, Benj continues to just be one of the Mets' best hitters. And, for somebody that you've seen and kind of, watch closely, like, did you really expect this particular breakout from him so early?
I mean, I can't pretend that I definitely did. I was one of those peoples from offseason to spring. I was excited, projecting. I was calling him the number one prospect ahead of even a Jet Williams last year. Wow. So I was excited about what was going to happen. But I also thought he was going to break camp in AAA, which is where I thought he belonged, until that spring did what he did. So obviously I'm excited that he's doing what I was hoping he was doing throughout the short time in the minor leagues. Spray the ball around, play good defense, show off his arm, draw some walks, and just be a tough out. So I'm excited about that, and I'm definitely excited about the even younger A.J. Ewing.
Oh, yeah, A.J. Ewing. It's very rare to see a kid with that level of discipline at the plate. The bat is going to come around. The hits are going to start coming, but just the defense in the outfield, the speed, just the wherewithal. He just has a matureness to his game, and I really love watching him. So, Tom, what do you thought? What are your thoughts about the game, Tom?
I liked that we actually got. I liked that we actually got a little length out of Freddie. Like, I liked that we got to see Freddie play well, especially against an offense that just mashes. I was kind of worried that over the last couple of starts we saw out of Freddie that we were going to get repeats of what we got the last couple of nights. So that was really good. He was able to kind of save the bullpen a little bit, because I think they said it during the broadcast that I think it was Mendy that mentioned it, that they need him to go, and that was something that you needed to see out of Peralta. And again, look, I said it before. Did I say it in the beginning of the show? I think I did. I'm losing my mind here. I am one good week of baseball away from me thinking that the Mets can actually turn this thing around. But until we get to see that evidence, it's all about the development of Carson Benj and A.J. Ewing. And if we see any more of these young kids come up, it's about their development, what we're going to see going forward. And you can't not be excited with what you're seeing from Carson Benj and A.J. Ewing. Like, it's unreal. They lost last night, but the 2 home runs out of Benj is just amazing, especially from a guy that, like, maybe I'm not the best, like, stats guy or, like, being able to dissect specific players. I thought Benj's swing looked kind of long, still looks kind of long, but he can still get to baseballs. And it's so refreshing to see a young guy come up and do that.
No, definitely. Nicole, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to not get swept. I guess so. It's good to have at least one win out of the series, and just from how, especially the previous night, how dreadful that game was. All the mistakes that kind of happened in that game, and it's nice to see some offense kind of happening. Especially Bo Bichette had a few hits, few RBIs in the game, and just like Tom said, Freddie, went 6 innings, which is kind of like a little bit of a surprise. You don't really expect that from him. So that was really great to see. So great progress, especially, again, coming off a night that was really, really just dreadful for them. So definitely happy about this win. And it's going to be, an interesting series coming up against the Padres. So it's always kind of I feel like it's whenever personally, I just don't like the Padres. They're a team that just, I don't know. I just don't like them for whatever reason. I feel like their players I don't like. Nothing with that team I like. So
leave Tatis out of this, though. All right, you can hate everybody else. Tatis listening. I don't side with that. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, it's just so hopefully they can get a series win with the Padres. But it's going to be difficult. So we'll see, how that plays out.
Ernest, in regards to, we're getting closer to the deadline. What are your thoughts? Do you think that they can make a run to be, buyers instead of sellers by the deadline?
I mean, well, at least to be honest, for better or worse, we will definitely know in time. Because I know I know there's a couple of random trades that were kind of early, but we all know the trades aren't really going to happen until somewhere in July. So we're going to know because they just spent 2 months playing an easy schedule and not winning. Now they're playing an entire month of pretty much 90% teams above 500. I think one team dipped. I don't know the status of like a couple of days ago. So we'll know one way or another. So we don't have to proclaim that they're out of it or still in it by miracles, as Tom was saying, and hoping for the hope. You could still say they have a shot. I don't want to use any rival team as an example, but the Phillies are no longer out of it like they were. So can they have a run like that? It sounds scary with the issues with the offense and pitching, depending on the day. Can they be consistent enough to make that 4 wins in a row? Can it become 9? That might be the only way the math could be mathing in that situation. I do still believe for now, but I will pay attention to the other team's prospect list and what's going on here and there, because come July, even though fans are very angry, you have to understand individually, a lot of these guys are going to get you prospects if you were selling. We can't just get mad. We hate the world. Every player sucks. We have to really focus on even a guy like Peralta. He's a guy that's going to easily, in my opinion, he gets you a top 100 MLB prospect, which they also gave up themselves to get him in the first place. Even as a rental, I bet you can get one for him in this rental situation, depending on playoff team, desperation, need. I want to just wait it out, at least for a few more weeks. But again, June is June. We're going to know. Because if they can't even play 500 ball in June, that means they'll be way under come July. It's going to be hard enough to play 500 right now at this point, as you've already seen from Seattle.
Absolutely. I think, a lot of these teams sometimes, you play down to your competition and sometimes you play up to your competition too. So we're going to see, just like you said in June, what this team is really made of. Jonathan got optioned, right? Back to AAA. Are there things that you're seeing with Jonathan's mechanics that might be giving him the issues that he's been having all season? Because, it looks like his secondary stuff has just not been connecting like that. So what have you seen with Jonathan that really is the difference between this year and last year?
I mean, obviously, I don't want to make it always as simple as the highest of highest levels. Last year, even I interviewed Jonathan about 1 month while he was in AA. 1 month later, he's in Queens pitching. So it was within 4 weeks of me interviewing this young man in AA, putting up video game numbers. But that's the thing. And obviously I have a bias. I'm very pro the guy I interviewed. But the thing is, Jonah Tong, you'll watch a game even in AA, he'll walk 2 or even 3 guys will walk in an inning, and it'll be no runs in the inning because he'll have 3 strikeouts in that inning. So he used to always kind of get out of it with fastball, changeup. I'm still curious, even from last year to this year now, back in the majors, teaching him a cutter. Why don't they don't want to ever really seem to use the curveball, which is what his thing was. He came into pro ball as nothing but a fastball curve. We don't know where it's going. I'll be honest there. Teenage Tong, those are the 2 pitches, no command of either one. It was a long process. Now he kind of dominated, struggled when he got rushed. Then they changed his arsenal. And they even shortened his delivery. I know even Gary Cohen mentioned it in the I wasn't even really paying attention. I'm a huge fan. He kind of tried to shorten up the huge leg kick, but they kind of tweaked a bit the delivery, gave him a whole new pitch, and maybe he's trying to sort it out. Maybe not the best idea to get him to the major leagues while still trying to figure out the cutter that wasn't cutting or working in spring. He probably wasn't ready yet. I was projecting, hey, Dub, when can he show up? Give him 10 starts. They didn't wait 10. So I'm worried about the rushing. Overall, though, his command has been a thing, like I said, from when he was 19 years old. So that's not new. I'm just curious about the pitch mix, adding in a pitch, taking away pitches like the curveball, which is almost non-existent in his outings, whether at majors or minor leagues. I'm just curious all the reasonings behind that. But overall, he's a young man who needed more time. And that's even me saying it, who wants everybody up there from the prospects to the majors.
Absolutely.
What do you think Jack Weniger has been missing from being actually getting the ability to get called up? Because, I mean, the Mets rotation is just kind of sort of in shambles. I mean, we're getting more. I feel like we're getting a bunch of bullpen days. We're getting a bunch of guys that are ineffective. Like, we don't really know if they're really trusting Sean Manaea to come back into the rotation. Kodai Senga, and then David Peterson is back in the pen. But Jack Weniger has been kind of lighting it up in the minors. What do you feel like is keeping him from cracking the majors?
I mean, I don't know if it's just using this baseball term of like the yips, because I don't know what's going on. He had like one outing, even in spring, had the yips, was walking everyone. And then all of a sudden, he's starting AAA, like leading the International League in ERA, dominating everything. But then 1 outing, 2 outing, 3 outings here, 2, 3, 4 walk outings. I'm not really used to that from Jack Weniger, from the long experience of a couple of years. But last year, he was pretty good overall, low enough walk rate. All of a sudden, the command seems to be off and on, even in spring. And now it's kind of showing itself. He can still dominate at times with the early ERA. Now the AAA ERA is bumping up a bit because he has these weird outings with it's an infection that's going all around from Queens to the minor leagues. So I'll tell you right now, the entire farm system from bottom to top, littered with walks and some command issues with lots of wonderful velo. And that's the one thing about Jack Weniger. I'll tell you right now, I was overhyping Jack Weniger a lot in spring because behind the scenes, people were telling me, Dove, he's hitting 98 right now in like January. So how is a guy throwing 98 in January throwing 94, 95 in the games? I'm just curious about the adjustments. Things are happening. I know a lot of the minor league pitchers, they weren't just changing Tong's arsenal. They're changing everybody's arsenals. I believe last year, Weniger started, I believe it was a 2-seamer. Staff were telling me that they were getting him to kind of get in there. They keep working with everybody's arsenals. So I guess it's a good thing and a bad thing, maybe from the pitching lab and all the computers. They keep trying to help these guys, but I have to assume the reason why Weniger isn't already a mainstay in the rotation is because of these weird blips now and then, and maybe they're worried about that inconsistency if you just leave him out there every 5th or 6th day in the majors right now.
Real quick, is it I don't, maybe I'm wrong, but I was told that and you could probably definitely help, that Jeremy Hefner had a big to do with like not just the major league pitching, but he helped kind of like with the pitching down in the minor, like this, like the coaching with the pitching down in the minors. Do you think that Justin Willard is having a similar impact on the coaching down in the minor leagues, and maybe that change is kind of like, are the Mets missing Jeremy Hefner in this case? Because I mean, look, I'm not here to say that the rotation last year was amazing, but I think it was hit with a lot of injuries. And this year, we're seeing a rotation that just looks like he can't really get it done or get any kind of length.
I mean, I guess we're going to get into all kind of debates there about bullpen management in these games. My issue, even from the offseason, I said it, proclaimed it from the offseason. I'm like, not to be too dramatic, I think the majority of the Mets season is going to come down to their trust on Minaya and Senga. That's worked out really well.
Yeah.
So I'm not even sure that there's and I know pitching overall has been a semi-strength for the Mets, give or take the guys that are just doing what they're doing. Overall, it's been okay. As far as the pitching staff itself, they've had turnovers, changes, but as my forever shout out for the last couple of years, Dan McKinney is now on the Major League staff as an assistant pitching coach. Dan McKinney's been around both A balls, I think AA. He knows all of the top prospects. So when you have the guys like Tom, Weniger, even McClain, Dan Weniger is the guy who told me back in 2024, people don't know what's about to happen with Nolan McClain. So he's been a mainstay of sorts, not long term, but in baseball terms, to be around for a couple of years. They've had that transition. There's a few guys like him, a few hitting coaches that have been repeating guys now that they've kept and then added under Stearns. So overall, I'm okay with the pitching-ish situation, unless we get into the decisions to trust certain guys, the bullpen management. I have a lot of thoughts about the hitting philosophy all the way down to the Dominican Summer League. I've had concerns based on what other people have told me. It's not just me making an opinion. I've had other now former Mets staff tell me I've had some concerns about teaching the same form of hitting philosophy to literally everyone, because some of this universal approaches, even to 17, 18, 19-year-olds, do damage. You fight for the perfect pitch to get that exit velo, slugging. It's not really working a little bit on the hitting end. There's been a lot of transitions from last year and even this year, guys trying to adjust, although cream of the crop, Ewing and Ben seem to be okay. So there could still be a method to the madness, which is why I'm just sitting here and not in their organization or on a staff. But I have my own opinion, more concerns with the hitting approach than pitching. I'm still okay with it. I'm hoping a few other guys, all my favorite guys in Syracuse that have command issues, if they can get that going as well, they could be some of the next men up to help.
Go.
I have a question about like past and current, I guess, Mets prospects. Like, granted, like, not every prospect works out, but the Mets, were very reluctant to trade like a Brett Beatty and Mark Vientos as they're coming up. Francisco Alvarez was highly touted, and their time in the majors hasn't really been to the level that the Mets expected them to be. They've had their moments in the majors, but I guess, like, would you say that's more of like a true like MLB, like, lack of MLB talent, or it's like more on the coaching developmental side of the Mets organization? And like a second part to it, how do you see like the new baby Mets, like Benj, Ewing, McClain, like, do you see them kind of following a similar type of outcome, for their future of, kind of not living up to the potential?
I mean, that's always going to be a concern, especially for Mets fandom. We have trouble having faith and hope in anything and anyone.
Oh, yes.
So maybe the concern is, because even when I report a lot on the minor leagues, if some guy's hot, some guy's having a hot May, some guy's on fire, and there's going to be some fans who are saying it respectfully-ish to me, and it's kind of like, well, anyway, Dub, I love you, man, but who cares? By the time they get up, they're going to suck like Beatty and Vientos. I mean, hopefully there's a new trend starting with Benj and Ewing. Again, now putting all the pressure on them. But it's not always about recency bias. Pete Alonso hit the ground running. Jeff McNeil hit the ground running. Conforto's had a very interesting up and down career. But when he first initially showed up, he was on fire from when he arrived. There is a precedent, even Mets-centric, of some of these guys succeeding and staying that way. Even on the pitching level, I'm wondering if Nolan McClain is under some kind of like hitting the wall as a full-time professional pitcher only. But I think some of the hitters are coming around. I can't just say that, well, these guys are going to be different. Don't worry, everybody. And I know even with the Beatty, Vientos, and poor Mauricio, who's like the the version of Alvarez who can't even get to that part yet to be here. These guys they're either demoted, promoted, demoted, bench, platooned, but we're going on year, 3, 4 with a couple of these guys. I can't always use the excuse you're not using them well enough. You're not trusting him.
No.
I use the excuse with Benj, like, thank God you have 2 lefty bats and you're going to play them every day. Wow, what a concept. Have your 2 top prospects stay on the field and in the lineup. I don't know at this point, these years later with Beatty and Vientos, because you have to have some form of consistency. There's some guys around the league that you can point to. Even the Mets have picked up on those minor league deals. Does that mean Beatty and Vientos are going to be those 27-year-olds on somebody else's AAA team waiting for the next call-up when they have that next kind of cue? Will they be the future Pache of sorts who was kind of in the minors? Like, I don't know what's going to come of them. Will they show up on the A's and hit 300 like Carlos Cortez? You never really know when these guys are going to hit it, make it. I do think the time has long since possibly come to the end. I've been saying since last year to trade some of them for some other form of depth need, because especially when you signed Bo, I was like, all right, who's getting traded between one or both of Beatty, Vientos, Mauricio? And they traded none of the 3. So I'm still confused as of today in June why they're still here.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that at some point you're going to have to just kind of cut bait with some of these guys, because if you have so much, I'm not saying that we have a dearth of talent down in the minors, but we do have some guys that you can be able to kind of say, okay, the Vientos experiment is over. The Beatty's experiment is over. Let's give some other kids a chance. And like you said, if you're going to go ahead and give Benj and Ewing the shot to be able to play every day and have them go against righty and lefties every day, then that's what you need to do with your prospects that are coming up like this, just having them as specialists, left-handed pitching. And it to me, it hurts the development of these guys more than it helps them. And I think that it goes to what you were saying in regards to the hitting philosophy in the entire organization is questionable. We talked about this on the show for months, but hearing it from you in regards to hearing it from people that are in the organization or around the organization, there's something to this. And that's a concern for me as well, because if there is a disconnect with who's actually relaying the messages to these kids, trying to have this uniformity approach, then you're going to have more kids that come up here with holes in their games. And how do they fix it if the people that are actually instructing them how to fix it, the whole philosophy is screwed up in the first place? You know what I mean? So it's tough, man. It's a really, really interesting dynamic, and I'm hoping that a lot of these guys can be able to just be above the fray, like a Benj and a Ewing, to be able to just kind of just be better than that and just be over whatever the philosophy is. What is the outside of obviously Tong and other Wenninger? Is there a pitcher that nobody's really talking about that has your eye very early on?
Well, I mean, there's plenty of them. You got another hour on this show.
Who's the best of the best in regards to that for you?
I mean, right now, the thing is, I was very excited, like I always am, but this offseason in spring, the thing was, so many of the top 30-ish prospects, I always say ish because I like guys outside the 30. Yeah. There's a lot of top quality guys that were all going to be AA, AAA breaking camp. And now we're seeing way too many of them, possibly for better or worse. I know some other guys. I'm trying to think of all the non-minor league junkies out there who wouldn't be as familiar with guys. Like even today, one of my favorite guys, I call him Baby DeGrom, who apparently I think the broadcaster stole my line on the opposing side in the Brooklyn game. So Baby DeGrom pitched today, Jose Chirinos. So he's a 21-year-old, but he's only in high A. When you get to the upper levels at this point, we've pretty much seen everybody, right. Especially my guy, Zach Thornton, who got rushed up. Mets love rushing guys. And now all of a sudden he struggled back to back. Now I got to worry about Zach Thornton, who's been the prototype of never walking anyone. He's been walking guys the last couple of weeks. So right now, my eye of sorts, as far as someone really close to the Mets, I have to keep harping on the pen arms at this point because one started the season on the IL. The other one was everyone's darling in spring, and now we've kind of forgot about him. He's been up and down. So we have Ryan Lambert and Dylan Ross. Hopefully, knock on wood, here we are June 3rd. They're both healthy on the active roster in Syracuse, hitting 97 to 99 plus on their fastball. Now it's going to be a matter of the up and down outings. I could even count the last couple of outings. I think Lambert came in, struck out 3 guys in an inning. Here we go. And then the next outing, walked a couple guys. Same for Dylan Ross. But these guys are just so exciting at their best. If I have to name the guys you're probably going to see in Queens one way or another, you still have to go with those names for the pitching. And then, of course, Ryan Clifford, Mr. Streaky. If he ever streaks enough more than a week or two, we'll probably see him as well, depending on the situation and need at first base or outfield depth.
Nicole?
I had a similar question. Like as a whole, I guess, since Barry talked about pitching or on the offensive side, what is some a player you felt like has gone under the radar and should be talked more about?
I mean, I always have my favorites, obviously. Going into the season, I was excited about a lot of guys who were struggling. That's why I was wondering what my guy that I just interviewed a couple of weeks ago, Ronald Hernandez, that was back from the David Robertson trade, the 2 teens we got. Marco Vargas, this poor kid keeps getting injured at least 2-3 times a year. He's back on the IL. Ronald Hernandez all of a sudden just had a 4-homer month in May. I think his career high in a season is like 6. So he just came out of nowhere to add some power. He's an interesting guy to maybe, definitely keep an eye on. But right now, these are the people we know are the people we know. There's been a lot of kind of struggles throughout every affiliate. I'd have to go all the way to the Florida Complex League where all the offense is, by the way. And obviously in St. Lucie, Elian Pena has been a little bit up and down, but as an 18-year-old in low A, he still remains the goods. I'm not comparing him to Ewing, but as far as plate discipline, he's going to have enough to fight and get at bats and get on base one way or another. But the upper levels, it's honestly tough to pick some guy. I was excited about some guys that haven't even played yet. So one of my favorites going into the season, Boston Barrow, he's still on the IL. Maybe one guy to keep an eye on. He's still only 21, but he's only an A-ball. My guy, Randy Guzman, is a large human. I don't know if he'll be a first baseman /DH/force him in the outfield in the corner if you need him in the major leagues. But I'm still excited about the raw power of Randy Guzman.
High exit velo with that guy.
He hits absolute nukes when he makes contact. Now, I got to worry about the K rate with Randy Guzman, as well as my other favorite from spring. He called me his lucky charm when he hit a home run when I was watching him. Chris Suero, he's been struggling in all season, and now he's had a couple of multi-hit games. Those are the bats. Like thinking bats outside of AAA, I keep hoping for Randy Guzman, Chris Suero, who could be a quasi-catcher mostly now, because he told me in his interview he hopes to be catching more at this point. So look for Chris Suero to be a majority catcher for the rest of the season. Nice. And then my guy, Randy Guzman, as far as the big ceiling guys, like could one or both actually be a future first baseman? I don't know if Chris Suero is going to come off catcher at all, but those are the guys I'm really still excited about and I'll never give up on. And then some of the other guys are just, younger players kind of learning the ways of pro ball.
Yeah. Tom?
So this might not necessarily be somebody that's going to affect the major league roster. I just need to see if you can shed some light on this. What is in the water in Syracuse that's got Kevin Parada awake? Like, I don't know what the hell happened, but like he went to AAA and this guy can hit all of a sudden.
I'm confused, and all I want to do sometimes is just post the stats, everybody. I know years ago I would get a little overhyped. I get it. In my maturity, as I get older, I keep trying to have more balance in my reporting. And with Kevin Parada, I honestly have no idea, but people are saying, it's only 5 games, even when it was 6, and we're getting into 7. Why does he have a hit in all 5-6 games? Can I play the downer part? I think almost every hit is a single, so maybe analytics, computers, the people out there that do all that stuff will say, see, it's eventually going to drop. But it's pretty interesting and fascinating. I know he had weird quirks with his batting stance when he came into pro ball, struggling with that. The power hasn't been showing at all. He'll have 3 weeks hitting .330, and then he'll hit $150 for like a month. So no consistency. And then all of a sudden this year, it looked like was the worst year. In he's still repeating AA, can't hit a lick. I don't even know why he's in the organization. They only moved him up to AAA because they needed a body who can catch. And then he's doing it. He's hitting every game. I know was it even last year he dropped some weight? So I know he dropped weight. He changed his plate approach, changed some things at the plate. I don't know which things have changed from last year to this year to last week. But I'm kind of curious. I'm not comparing again, but that guy, Carlos Cortez, who was in the Mets organization for about 6 years and flamed out, he's a major leaguer on the A's. So is this going to be a weird, maybe hopefully not change the scenery? Do we have to trade Parada for him to be hot? Or can the light bulb just completely go off right now for a guy who could look around the system and say, well, people are not too happy with Hayden Sanger, who I love, but you've got Alvarez who's always hurt. So even with Torrens having that contract for another couple of years, this guy's always hurt. The other guy, people kind of mock him for his previous job, and Sanger, he's probably thinking it's going to be now or never, and I literally have a shot in Queens. Is that the motivation for a guy who's always technically had the talent, but some of the analytics wasn't clicking? Some of the stuff he did in college, it wasn't translating. That metal bat situation, the way he swung, it hasn't been translating as a pro, and I do understand behind the scenes the Mets kind of figured that out once they had him. So it's been an adjustment period to figure out what works for him. Is this going to continue? Is he going to be a 300 hitter now in Syracuse? That would be pretty incredible. But even me as the prospect hugger, I'm not 100% believing in it at the moment. So I've told people, hey, when should he come to Queens? Tell me when he's at 100 at-bats, or I'll tell you, because I'm always scouting the lines anyway. I'll tell you when the thing says 100 AB, I'll update everybody on how Kevin Parada's doing.
Good one. I have a question about two guys, Ernest. Eli Serrano III is a very weird prospect to me. Like, I can't put my hand, like my thumb, like anything on it in regards to like a guy that's 6'5". You know, he's not great defensively. He hasn't shown much power in the minor leagues, yet I know that there's potential there. Like, do people in the organization still feel that way about him as well? Is that you just look at this guy and it's like, there's still some upside within that body. Like, what are your thoughts about Eli Serrano?
Everyone's waiting. Yeah, everyone is still waiting for that guy. Even national publications, they've been ranking him. Even I wasn't even willing to fully rank him at a certain. There's other publications that have been ranking him since last year. He hasn't hit in pro ball. He hasn't hit.
Not at all.
I'm an old person. Batting average, never been there. He's a guy that he's like another version of the Timu Benj, where every time he makes contact, it's 105 miles an hour. Right. So that was the thing. Like, he's a hard exit velo guy. And again, like you said, he's physically huge. He's tall. He's a prototype. But I've even heard some things from other stuff where even as a monster with that physicality, there have been people still saying, even as a floor-ish ceiling, are we looking at a platoon corner outfielder that you can really utilize very well? Can he be a left-handed Tyrone Taylor without Tyrone Taylor center field defense? Maybe that was some of the stuff that people were still saying behind the scenes. I don't know how many people really thought of him as a 162-game player in a lineup, but when is the power going to show? I have another favorite guy in the low levels, Yohairo Cuevas, and I was told he's a natural power guy. It hasn't shown in pro ball yet, but maybe it's a physicality, it's batting practice. Like that, even some staff have told me hitting a baseball is hard, Ernest. So you know what I mean? Like when you like this guy is a monster, he's this, he hit 12 nukes in spring in batting practice, and then the games start. So that guy definitely shouldn't give up on him. My concerns with Serrano, not concerned, but he was always getting nagging injuries in pro ball for like 2 years. So I'm like, good, he's finally healthy. This is it. I am respectfully waiting. I'm also hoping to interview him as well. I've been lining up a bunch of guys to interview. I was hoping he'd be one of the ones coming up as well, but very thankful to interview Chris Suero. But I guess we have to keep waiting. Is he another version, again, of a bench that they think is going to translate? What is he, a platoon bench? Is he, even for Ryan Clifford at his best, if he's hitting enough bombs, is Ryan Clifford going to be a version of a Schwarber that doesn't play every day? It's interesting things based on how big those guys are and the exit velo and the swing. I believe he still has a pretty long swing, Serrano, but everybody wants to focus on the contact and how hard it is. So how does that going to translate to a batting average that'll be sufficient? Good luck.
Yeah. And the other guy that, people were very high on, still very high on as well, like, the expectations has not dropped, is Jacob Reimer. Jacob Reimer, for me, like, the guy defensively still needs a lot of work, I think. But the K rate has gone up this year. Any concerns in regards to the K rate going up as high as it's going up this year? Because I think it's close to 30%, is it not?
I'm just wondering if I'm telling you, this hitting philosophy, because a lot of these guys, Chris Suero, he had his biggest power surge last season out of nowhere. And now last year and this year, his highest K rate in pro ball. Reimer, as a teenage Reimer, was one of those guys they were almost even. The walks and Ks were even in the low levels, which again, low levels. When I interviewed Reimer a few weeks back, he did lose some weight, worked on agility, athletic stuff. So that's been improving some of his defense. I was pretty excited about that. They have some of the boring stats. The error stats are down. Some of the general stats are better for him. Even at third base, he made a couple of good plays. I was super excited in spring. He made a couple of running plays, and I was probably more happier than anyone watching it behind the scenes. But Jacob Reimer, my concern is what the heck happened, because he played over 60 games last year in AA, and he was fine. So I'm like, if he's repeating, he's going to hit 350. And then it's been a struggle. He got hot now in May. I've been hyping it for a few weeks. And when I interviewed him again, he talked about some of the stuff. He's very still confident that it's going to be there. And because he is the guy. And if he can have a new athletic ability, a little bit thinner, leaner, working on the athleticism, can he be a future third baseman still? Can he be above Vientos and maybe below Beatty as a third baseman? That could be a guy. Even a guy like Baum in Philly. Like, these guys can up and down. They can get better or this and that. I can still believe in my guy Reimer as a full-time player, as the future third baseman, but obviously a long way to go. I'm just happy there's been a bit of a hot streak, and even the Rumble Ponies themselves finally have decided to score some runs lately. So will that translate, around the prospects as well for a guy like Reimer, who I still currently very much believe in? He belongs top 5-ish in the Mets farm system rankings by a lot of people. He deserves it. And I'm curious how hot he can really get in the second half, because I need to get him to AAA as well. Don't play out the whole season in AA. He's still young anyway, but you got to progress in this sport. Otherwise, you get left behind.
Absolutely. Because, in regards to his arm talent, like, the guy he has a cannon. So for him to be able to translate to third base, it'll be fine for him as long as he can get his feet together. But he can also probably be a first baseman too in the future, right? Like, there's some optionality there with a Reimer, but he definitely, like you said, has to get his offense around, because that's what's going to be his moneymaker. It's not going to be on the defensive end. It's going to be him being able to put bat to ball. You know what I mean? So, those are two guys I definitely wanted to talk to you about. Tom or Nicole, got anything?
Yeah, no. So maybe I am overthinking this a little bit, but in a perfect world, in a happy world where the Mets find themselves being able to be buyers at the deadline. And I'm not saying like anything too crazy. I'm not saying like they're gearing up to go on a World Series run. I'm just saying to be competitive and get that last wild card spot. Do the Mets since they have a lot of questions at a lot of positions, we don't know about Vientos in the future, Beatty in the future. The pitching staff has a lot to be desired. If the Mets did look to add, I know David Stearns in the off seasons, in spring training, I believe, unless I'm paraphrasing, remembering it wrong, said that every year he wants to go to spring training and he wants us to see young players that have the potential to come up and affect the major league roster. Do the Mets have like enough young players that they can trade that aren't going to hurt like the immediate future? Because I think the Mets do still want to build a team that's going to consistently win outside of this year. Do they have the prospects that that they can trade away to bring someone in, and it's not going to hurt that young crop coming.
I mean, for better or worse, with a lot of the struggling going on in the farm system, there's also depth still, one way or another. There's always a lot of pitching depth in the Mets farm system. But again, my joke now at this point, they are mimicking the major league team. So they have a lot of spin rate, a lot of strikeouts, and a whole lot of walks throughout the system. So, but again, these computers, these analytics, other teams, we've seen it in the last trade deadline. People were asking me, I was making videos after every trade when the Mets were trading away prospects. Oh, is Dove going to be crying? But I kind of mention it, and some of those guys have similar themes throughout the offseason or that deadline. These high K rate guys that teams want to gamble on the talent. And I think the Mets are going to have those guys again. Even the guys they acquired for some people this past, offseason, you're trading these guys. They have the depth for it, and it's a matter of what they're going to do with it. My heart is pounding over a couple of these guys who are looking pretty good in the other organizations, by the way. So I think my Franklin Gomez has been amazing. But some of those guys, you have those kind of gamble guys, high velo guys, you can still trade them, and there's going to be value for them, even if Mets fans are like, everyone sucks. But positionally, I think pitching would still technically be the depth in the farm system to trade. As far as positions themselves around the diamond, it's hard to say because we don't really have a lot of first basemen. There's Ryan Clifford, and then there's, what you want to do. You want to move Reimer? Do you want to move a Chris Swerrell to make him a utility player? We don't really have the depth to definitely, if you trade Ryan Clifford one way or another, because by the way, I believe Ryan Clifford is Rule 5 eligible, so you're going to have to put him on the 40-man. So he's a guy you're going to have to consider like a Morabito anyway, one way or another with the organization. Maybe they trade from the pitching. I'm not even honestly sure where else you can go other than lower level guys where we have a lot of athletes. Even talking to some people behind the scenes the last few days in the Mets organization, they would prefer it. We like getting our athletes, and we'll see how it goes. So they have versatile athletes all around the system, and I would like to think other organizations would value that athleticism. As now, who you're going to get for those guys? I don't know if we're getting any version of a Skubal or anything, but we can acquire legit talent. Do we need maybe another pen arm or two? Do we need a starting pitcher who can see the seventh inning one way or another? Even with a 3 or 4 ERA, give me a guy who sniffs the seventh inning every fifth day down the stretch. That could be what they need. Hitting, I would love to talk buying hitting, but where are they going to play? Because the Mets keep holding on to the same players. So are they going to be trading away Beatty and Vientos and Mauricio? Who are they going to have to finally get rid of? Maybe Jared Young comes back to reality of sorts. Maybe Melendez just got hot again a couple of times, but after he was slow, you can find some depth to acquire as a buying for that, but it's going to be hard roster-wise unless guys are injured.
Cole?
I guess for the future, who do you think would be like the next prospect that really makes like a big impact? Like we've seen like with like a Carson Bench, it makes you like kind of like excited for the future.
I'm trying to figure out if we really honestly have one of those right now. You'd have to go way down to Elian Pena, who's going to be a few years. Can he skyrocket to like a 20-year-old major leaguer? I think it's possible for an Elian Pena to do that. But again, I have so many of my own question marks on my favorites, like Suero, like Randy Guzman. When's the breakout coming? Because I don't know, and I haven't seen it yet. So I'm really curious, because if you go down the top 5, top 10 in the Mets system, a lot of websites, publications, we've kind of seen them already as far as the guys who've already made debuts. The guys who are struggling, even a guy like Morabito is in everyone's top 20s. I kind of put him 30th on my little top 30 list. But, there's so many ranked guys that are – which one's going to be the Ewing, Benj? Which one can be the McNeil or the Alonso? Right now, we're not seeing the consistency to have that. Pitching-wise, I thought Wenninger was that. I'm not comparing him to Nolan McLean, but I thought Wenninger would be this year's Nolan McLean, entering the rotation during the season. Now I'm kind of wondering how much longer is he going to, can he get the consistency going? That's the best I can come up with at this point, because I don't see another, guy that's like, it's destined, it's going to happen, he's going to be an everyday player when he arrives. Which one would it be? All the guys in the 10s of the Reimer, Clifford, those are the names that are up there right now in the top 10. Even guys like a Mitch Voigt, a super athlete who's still struggling a bit. He got hot. Yeah. He gets hot here and there. Like, he'll have games. He has 4 hits in 5 games. That 5th game was a golden sombrero. The Mets system is killing me with the strikeouts. So I don't know. I have to keep waiting. Who's going to take the next leap like those guys, like a Ewing and like a Benj? I have to respectfully say I don't see it definitely with a current high A, double A, triple A guy right now.
Here's a question for you, Ernest. This is an interesting one. When you're evaluating prospects, especially at whether it's high A, double A, triple A, especially with a pitcher, does ERA really matter at the triple A level when you're evaluating a guy to say, hey, he's ready for the next level? Or is it more about how much of his stuff that he can be able to command and stuff? Because obviously, pitchers, triple A's, it's tough. That guys normally can get hit around in triple A, but is it more about, the totality of the stuff, how they're controlling everything, and you're not necessarily worrying about ERAs and all these other numbers?
Yeah, even as an old guy, it's technically not about ERA or even batting average of sorts in the minor leagues, especially in the low levels. If you ask me, hey, man, I still want to learn about the lower kids, and I'll tell them Dominican Summer League, Complex League, all I really want to – I'll look in the box scores and I look at walks, Ks. And I'm talking pitchers or hitters. I don't care, either one. That's all I really care about. Do you have any discipline whatsoever, and do you have any command whatsoever? For AAA, even in AA, even in high A, with the wins in Brooklyn, like, you could be like, hey, there's guys that dominate. They're in A-ball with like a 1.8 ERA. Like, this dude's going to be something. He's in a pitcher's league. The wind is ferocious. Depending on how he pitches, the ball goes in the air, forget it. Even if you're Ryan Clifford, the ball's going to die. So as a lefty, there's so many factors. I'll ask even coaches. I'll ask certain coaches and sources after a game, hey, what happened? He struggled. I saw the box score. He goes, he didn't struggle. 3 of the hits were like bloops. One was a minor league fielder who did a minor league fielder thing. I won't get in. You know what I mean? Like, guys mess up, guys misread a ball. So there's always going to be reasonings behind the ERA. I always still love walks, Ks. I want to get insight into what the team thinks of the computers and the velocity and learning a new pitch. Because if they say, hey, we told him to go out there for an inning and throw nothing but fastball curve, and then in the second inning, throw your slider or throw your whatever. When you're practicing a pitch for an entire inning and it gets blown up, but that's what they were there to do. So there's way too many factors, especially in the minor leagues, when everything is very structured, when you're going to pitch, how you're going to pitch, what pitches you're going to pitch. It's very interesting kind of structure that still works all around baseball. So yeah, I don't worry about ERA. It just looks good though when you're reporting it. I do always like the K rates because, it's good to see if you're getting swings and misses. Like in AAA, you go on the websites, they're going to have swing and misses on certain websites at AAA level. It's good to see actual who's missing the bats. But yeah, ERA is whatever. Somebody was joking with me about a bad ERA, and you look at the game logs, the guy had like 8 scoreless and then like 2 outings got rocked, and that's the ERA. That major leagues, especially minor leagues, you come out and just have a flop out of nowhere for whatever outing. Or if you're the Tuesday pitcher, you come back on Sunday, you get rocked. You're not a terrible starting pitcher. You face the same team twice in the same series. Even minor leaguers can adjust pretty well. So you can't kind of super fault them for that either. So yeah, it's either way. There's just so many things that go into this. And if I just go off stats, I'm going to be worse at my predictions than I already am when guys come up and do better or worse.
No, great answer. So we have some chat stuff here. G Money Stack says, are analytics ruining the game of baseball? I gotta agree with Barry that analytics don't make any sense and it doesn't tell the whole story. So what are your thoughts of, not going into, I don't want to get you in trouble or anything like that, but does analytics, because we need analytics, we need it as a guide, but do you think that teams are leaning too heavily on the analytics in the modern game?
I mean, that's the thing to me as an older person. I understand when people want to, they'll respectfully debate me on this and say, listen, man, it's really just about the information. Like you said, this isn't a computer telling you what to do, how to do it, and how to swing, but how you utilize that information. If you see it on the Mets all day long, you see them taking pitches that are middle. Like, why are you taking the pitch? Is there something in the analytics and computers that says, hey, when he throws this and it's going to be here? Are they just misreading the computer that says over 30 starts in 180 innings, on average, Peralta will throw this pitch in this location, this percent of the time? Is that what you're going off of? Because in that particular game inning, that's all that matters in the moment. You can't just fast forward like it's a video game where you're doing that mode. Well, let me just play out the season, see how I did. That's not how real life works, not in the moments. So I do have concerns of it. But again, the bottom line is it's a great informational tool. If you go ask an organization like the Dodgers if it sucks, they'll probably say, yeah, sure. Tell every team in baseball besides us it's terrible. Don't use it.
Right.
How do you use it? I don't know what the Rays are doing, but other teams seem to know how to utilize it, implement it, and communicate it. So I don't love it, but I understand. Just please consider it more informational and hopefully not see it as, killing the game.
Armana has a great question here. He said, question for Ernest. He said, what positions does he believe the Mets will target in the Major League Draft, MLB Draft? That's a good question.
I mean, well, the factors with the Mets are they're always picking out at the bottom thanks to their spending too much money. God forbid they spend money on their team. I'm always a best player available anyway, to be honest. And I think, again, we got to go with athletes, which sounds ridiculous. Like, dude, I know all players are athletes, but they want to keep drafting these versatile athletes. They're going to be drafting shortstops and center fielders who have plate discipline and really nice exit velo, because since about 2022 or so, they added all the extra resources the Mets have, even in amateur scouting. So now they're finally on the level of some teams that have had it for a while before the Mets. So they're even having these extra stuff to find those guys, those even from high school and college games. Now you're really going to know about the exit velos, what it really means in the barrel rate. Honestly, though, the way things are going, even with the hitting struggling, the Mets better draft some pitching because they are dropping like flies, not only in the major leagues, but in the minor leagues. They're literally drafted at least 2 guys last year. They were injured during the draft. So they already knew it and purposely drafted them anyway. So
what's his name? Well, one of them is Kuro, right?
We have Cuso, and then
Cuso, yeah.
But I don't even know if they knew he was injured. But the other guy they drafted, I think a college guy, they definitely drafted him while injured for the purpose of waiting till the next year. So it's just a very interesting dynamic. I hope they go pitching. As far as high school, college, we can't do the desperation thing and say, let's just draft college guys because we need help right now. That's not how baseball works. You've already seen it with a guy like Ewing now. He's already in the major leagues at 21 anyway out of high school. You got to get the best player based on your computers, but also your actual human scouting. I'm still just hoping if you can draft like 15 pitchers and 5 bats, maybe sign the bats because you need arms.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe it's obviously just a prisoner of the moment because the last 2 seasons the Mets haven't gone very well, and David Stearns has been under a lot of fire. We obviously don't like what he's done at the major league level over the last couple of years just because the team hasn't played well. Do we have to have concerns about what his philosophy is like down in the minor league level? Because I know, again, going back to, I think, 2024, he touted that minor league system. I mean, Soto came here in 2025 and touted the minor league system that the Mets had. Do we got to worry a little bit of what the David Stearns effect in the minors? Because I believe I read a a quote that John Harper got from a scout around the league, saying that I'm just saying Stearns may not have been the secret sauce in Milwaukee. I'm taking a clip of the full quote, but what are your thoughts?
I mean, that's the thing. There's good and bad in everything. So some years ago, let's be honest, and even I've heard about it now a little bit in previous years, the Mets, they didn't really have the resources of other organizations.
Right.
And you'll see certain guys, like you'll see even certain trades when the Mets are sellers or they're buyers at a deadline. And the teams seem to be poaching the lower level kids from the Mets every year, because they seem to have better information and scouting than the actual Mets did from all the information and resources. They have definitely caught up in those resources from the pitching lab, which is also technically a version of a hitting lab. Then now they have one of the best nutritional programs, I think the best minor league nutritional program in baseball. So they did that. And then Steve Cohen's like, well, I'm bored. He just threw $50 million to build an entire new facility in St. Lucie that's only for the minor leaguers. So all of the resources that even Soto's probably excited about is there. But I think what you're also kind of implying or referring to is, where's the player development part? Because you may have everything the Dodgers have right now and the Rays with more money than the Rays. So now what? Yeah, that's the thing. Should we be worried about the universal hitting approach? I mean, I'm concerned, but I'm sure people can explain it to me a lot better if I started asking more questions.
Yeah.
That it's just, why isn't it translating? But they won 2 minor league titles last year, so they had great runs with some of the top players, but that's also a minor league thing, some of the cream of the crop. They had really good pitching last year, probably leading them to both of those championships. Yep. And then we're seeing those pitchers either struggle at the higher levels or at the major league levels. So these guys graduate up. I mean, that's some of the concerns. Can they consistently keep bringing up Benjes and Ewings? Maybe not at a certain level, but that's what you're going to have to do. Even with a team in this high market, with or without a future cap or whatever's going to happen after a lockout or whatever, you better be able to develop guys every single year. Until proven otherwise, I'm a little bit concerned. Maybe the summer's going to prove me wrong. Maybe these guys using the computers, it's going to balance out at the end of the year. And we'll be like, see, those guys that won the titles last year, here they are with a bunch of winning records at the end of the year, this time in minor leagues. Maybe it'll definitely, hopefully, turn around. But as far as one thing I know is, hey, listen, these are the guys. They believe in them. They are all over the map. I talked to somebody on X. People are arguing, like, fire Stearns. You will have to fire half of the organization, because in only 2 years, you have to understand how this works. I hire so-and-so. He hires a head of this. He hires his assistant. The assistant hires his favorite coaches. That coach knows another coach. That coach knows his assistant. This is how it works all the way down to the Dominican Summer League. So if you fire him at the top, you're not just having an interim guy like in Phillies. Donnie Baseball is not going to show up and the whole organization is going to be winning. It's going to be a process. You get rid of him, you're probably getting rid of 20, 30 people minimum. That's how it works. When Stearns got there, I lost a bunch of sources because they all moved on. And these were highly qualified, successful people who've done really well at their job. So you're never going to know, for better or worse. I say keep him for I don't know how many time frames, but he better still stick around because he's built this. You got to figure it out.
Yeah, we used to joke around and say that David Stearns came in and killed all the rats.
Well, whatever needs to be fumigated, like the offense or something. But
facts, big facts.
Yeah, it's Nicole. You have a question for Ernest before he gets out of here?
I get, if you consider him still a prospect, McLean. There's kind of been some talk around that I've seen of, should he kind of get like a demotion just because of his kind of strange balls he's been hitting, because we've seen him be so great and then all of a sudden like his couple past few outings has not been the same guy. Like, is that something that you see the Mets doing? Or because like there's such a need for pitching right now, if that's even like an option for the Mets to even do.
Yeah, and I'm kind of wondering too, to be honest, with Nolan McLean, is he just kind of pitching too much at this point? even when, DeGrom, again, he's not DeGrom. I'm not saying that, but remember I had a couple of years like he's going to take a one start off or get pushed back. Is this going to be a scenario even during tough times, which is probably why they won't do it with all these openers out already? Would they pull a DeGrom on him and say, hey, we're going to push back your start for like the next time or on the 8th day this time? Is that something that can maybe solve it? I don't know about solving, be too big of a word. As far as demotions, I mean, either way, you send him down, whoever you bring up, it's just, I don't know if it's going to click like that. Maybe with McClain, it's an adjustment period. He's a guy where everything he throws is moving all over the place. He's like our new Familia, but as a starter. So you have Jerry's Familia out there as a starting pitcher throwing 90 pitches a game. The ball's going all over. And like with the Senga situation, people have mentioned that. Well, maybe the thing with Senga, people are sitting on waiting for him to not have enough command, and then they spit on the forkball. Are we now getting to a point where McClain's movement on his fastball, he's not getting it enough in the zone to get strikes? So if they get ball 1 or ball 2 on the fastball, they are not even swinging if they see spin. So he can't get those flailing strikeouts. I think hopefully it's an adjustment period / a guy who's finally a full-time pitcher, maybe some mixing. I'm not, advocating for definitely just pushing him back a start, but I definitely want him to stay either way. I'm just curious if that might be what's going on, that kind of DeGrom thing he had for a year or two.
Yeah, my biggest thing with him, I think he might be tipping his pitches a little bit. I've heard that. Also, he's very middle when he's missing. And you can't do that at the major league level. I don't care how much spin, how much sauce you have on your pitches. If it's middle, major league baseball players are gonna hit it. So it's what you said. He has to make an adjustment. The league has made an adjustment to him. Mm-hmm. It's now his turn to make that next adjustment. And we gotta think about it. He's still a rookie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he had 8 stars. It's 6 stars, 8 stars last year. Like, he's still a rookie. So, he's still trying to figure those things out. I think the expectation for him was too high. We talked about it on the show. I think we just need to taper expectation until he's actually fully comfortable and we see exactly what he is. Tarek Skubal didn't become Tarek Skubal until 3-4 years into his career, right? So it's you have to give things time to be able to develop. But he has the talent. All right, Ernest, before you get out of here, man, I need your top 3 prospects outside of the names that we already know. I don't want to hear any Clifford, no more Beatles, I don't want to hear none of those guys, right? Give me some top 3 guys that we don't talk about much.
Well, I got to go way down then. I mean, I got to pick the lower one. I mean,
I'll take it.
I already mentioned Baby DeGrom, so they have Jose Chirinos.
Okay.
There's also a guy, very quiet. We got him basically for nothing. He was a gamble lottery ticket trade. Nicholas Carreño, who he's a lefty who couldn't throw strikes if you paid him. And all of a sudden, he's now 19. He throws 97 plus as a lefty.
Wow.
And I have some people's like my guy on X, BK fan. He's like, dude, if you made him a reliever full time, he'd probably hit 100. So, but right now he's still pitching ish as a starter. But Nicholas Carreño, you can't teach 97 plus at 19 years old as a lefty. And then there's Daviel Hurtado. He's the other lefty that can go 95, 96 plus as a lefty arm. I've talked to some coaching staff. They're almost putting him on the levels. Like, if you were to tell me, who do you really 100% believe in low A? He said, Elian Pena and Hurtado are the main guys. So when you put him in the same name as Pena, you got to believe Daviel Hurtado is going to be a fascinating pitcher to follow for a couple of years. Carreño can still be a wild card. I don't know if he's going to be one of those Gregory Soto type relievers later on where he just throws fire and you're worried about walk rates. He's going to be interesting. So those are basically 3 names I can come up with at the top of my head, but a couple of lottery ticket guys. But I think Hurtado hopefully is the business in a few years.
Awesome. So, Ernest, thank you so much for coming on, man. We appreciate the time. You really don't know how much this means to us, man, as a show. We're growing. You're growing as well. where can people find, your podcast and all the stuff that you're doing?
I mean, I've tried to keep it simple at this point, whatever it is that I'm doing. But a lot of it, if you just literally search my name, full name, Ernest Dove, ERNEST DOVE. If you do it on YouTube, it'll show the New York Mets Dove Report. If you go on X, even on Instagram, where I can try to do some things, I keep trying to spread it all around. But for the main thing is, if you want to follow me on X, again, at Ernest Dove, I just use my full name. And then on YouTube, on the New York Mets Dove Report, I'm going to continue to do some things. I already talked to somebody about another player interview. So maybe the next things, besides my selfie videos, there'll be another player interview within the next week. And I'll continue those on throughout the season.
Absolutely, man. We are looking forward to those. Going to be tapped in. And, hopefully we can be able to get you on, at some later point during the season so we can be able to talk, deadline stuff or whatever it is, man. But definitely good stuff. We appreciate it.
I guess I'll have either more prospects to hug or I'm going to be losing them for a good reason. But we got a long way to go. I'll be crying or I'll be hugging. We'll see.
We appreciate it, man.
All right, man.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Take it easy. Ernest Dove, man. Good guy, man. Knows a lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I like what he said in regards to he doesn't know, right? Like that's the thing that I took away from that interview. All of the stuff that he was saying is that we don't know what's wrong with these guys. Not really what's wrong, but there's a change within the organization. Everybody's struggling.
Yeah.
Everybody's struggling. Top to bottom, the entire organization, pitching wise, hitting wise, everything is just off. And we really have to start having that conversation about these analytics, man. Whatever the philosophy is, whatever the computer's spitting out to them, what are they relaying to these players that's just not connecting?
Yeah. And what's kind of crazy to me, and maybe I don't know if I necessarily took it wrong, and hopefully if we have him on, maybe we can get some more clarity, is that like we got touted on the Mets having a really deep farm system, which is great. It sounds like that they might, but it sounds like a lot more of those guys that are hopefully going to be impact players are a while away. It doesn't sound like we have a lot of guys that are going to be ready to go right away. And G Money, I appreciate the hell out of you.
G Money Stats is giving us.
I have it on the TV. Doing my best to not look up at the TV the whole interview, but because that was just some great stuff. But yeah, it sounds like the Mets have a lot of guys that are a little while away. It doesn't sound like we have a lot of guys that are going to be ready to go come next season.
Yeah. That's what I took away as well. Nicole, what did you take away?
Yeah, like obviously he has really, really great insight of pretty much, every Mets prospect. Like there's like some that I never heard of, which is exciting.
He's the man. Like if you need to follow somebody, go to Ernest Dove on X. And I see Tom doing something over there. He's gesturing.
3. Sorry, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
All right.
It's all good. But yeah, and to kind of hear like even if they are kind of in that really like low A, just for the future. That's why like I had like the questions like for like the future, like who's like a name that kind of excites him. So it just makes you excited for what's to come. But granted, like we talked about earlier too, is not every prospect works out. So I liked like the question Tom had is, can we kind of believe in this Stearns kind of era of him kind of leading the prospects? Because that's all we kind of hear about is, well, I guess like his high point, I guess, is the prospects. Is David Stearns really knows what he's doing in that aspect. So as time progresses, we're really going to see that play out as more people make the big league roster, because the prospects we previously had, like Beatty, Vientos, Mauricio, Alvarez, even some of the ones that we trade away just didn't really fully come to fruition. So like why you always say like why can't we be a team that has like a top prospect that actually pans out like a Griffin, like a Roman Anthony, like a Paul Skeens, like where is that for the Mets? Because it always seems like, oh, when you look on the 100 prospect board, the Mets do have a lot of prospects on that board, and you just hope and pray that it's like actually that level of player, because if we do get that, then this team's going to be good for a very long time. And I feel like one of the big reason why also too Soto came here was because of the future, and he really believed that the Mets did have a better future than the Yankees. So I hope he wasn't kind of sold a load of BS on that end, because, I just feel unfortunate. I mean, a man's making $700 million. I still feel bad for him if that's kind of sold, not sold the dream he was promised. So
feel bad for a $700 million man is crazy.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see. Like I have, all good things that Ernest said. So I do have some excitement, coming down for the future for the Mets.
I think at some point, man, we just like we talked about with Ernest. I am there now. I am there in regards to ship Beatty out.
Oh yeah.
Ship Vientos out.
Yeah.
You have to start thinking about what you're gonna do with Alvarez. I understand he's still young because he's still one of the youngest catchers in baseball, right? Yeah. Like that's what kind of hangs on for me for him, that he's still one of the youngest catchers in baseball. And if he can be able to just pull together some consistency, because most of his injuries are just freak injuries, man. It just doesn't, it's bad luck, but at the same time too, if there's some guys are just injury prone. Some guys just have soft tissue injuries, and they're going to continue to have soft tissue injuries. So, I don't know when you decide to move on from an Alvarez, but those other two, you got to move on from.
Yeah.
And based on what Vientos said the other day, was it yesterday he said that? Yeah, I got it right now. I am going to pull this up because I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what this guy said. So here we go.
Of a little bit of props, because last month, just a lot of bad luck. The inconsistency is not something that I want. I'm pushing for better results, working with the coaches, trying my best to be the best version of myself right now. It's not happening, but I'm working for it for sure. Pretty good. Feel like I've done a pretty good job over there. Been working. Feel like I've been doing pretty good.
The man thinks he's been doing pretty good at first base. Do you know that Mark Vientos is ranked in the bottom half of the league when it comes to every defensive statistic at first base?
Well, I would argue that I think for playing the position for his first year, I think he was right. Like, he's played pretty good for a guy that's never played the position before at the major league level consistent. It's like, I think he's doing pretty good. It's just he's not doing good enough. You know what I mean? Like,
what is this, Pee-wee baseball?
No. I'm
just not coming at you. I'm just saying, in regards to what he's saying, I don't need to hear that from you.
Oh, right? No.
I don't need to hear that from you. That's my whole point, is that whoever asks you the question, you ain't got to answer that like that, because we already have this perception of who Mark Vientos is.
Yeah.
That there's this oblivious nature that he has, right? This bravado that he has that we haven't seen translate on the baseball field consistently, right? That's the problem, is that this is why these comments, people are talking about them now, is because of who's in front of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just seems extremely tone deaf. And at this point, I chalk it up to a loss. It's just whoever else can be able to play first base. You can't tell me that you can't find somebody else to be able to play position. Like, come on now. I'm over it. I am over it.
I honestly, I'm just like, Brian, like Ernest said, I mean, Brian Clifford might be a little too streaky, but honestly, at this point, I think I'd rather that than watch Mark Vientos do this. You know what I mean? I'm just 100%. I'm tired of playing the mental gymnastics of Mark Vientos being bad and then getting a little bit hot and being like, oh, okay, don't let Mark Vientos get hot. Here it is, 2024, Mark Vientos is coming back. It's just not going to happen. And honestly, like, as good as defensively at third base as Brett Beatty is, I just like, I don't see it. I really don't see it. I can't see that guy be my everyday third baseman anymore. I understand, like, when Lindor comes back, just stick Lindor at short, put Bo back at third, and
have Vientos be your bench guy.
Just put Beatty some. I don't even know what you can do with Beatty at this point. I don't know if he still has options. I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think it's a really weird situation that the Mets are in because I think they're only 5 or 6 games out of a wild card spot. So, like, where do you add if you decide to add? You know, like Ernest said, where is that guy going to play if you decide to trade for a bat or something like that? Because you can't have him DH because what's Jorge Polanco going to do once he's here? He's probably going to be back next series.
Yeah, because he's in I think he's in AAA or AA right now.
AAA, yeah, he's hitting a little bit.
Yeah. I think he went 0 for 3 today with 2 Ks. No, it was 2 walks, I think. So he's doing all right. Yeah, listen, I think David Stearns really set this team back, not realizing keeping these 2 guys on the roster when you could have traded them to be able to go get some major league bats or pitching. You can't do it now because their value was so low. Like, their value was very high in the offseason, and you could have been able to. I'm just talking about higher than it is now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't extremely high, like they're can't miss prospect, but when you don't have any season to be able to pinpoint and point to, you could have been able to get these guys off to be able to get something. And just like Ernest said, like, you know, hopefully we can be able to get some pitching, but we keep beating a dead horse here. There was pitching right in front of us in the offseason that we did not strike on. Like, as much as Framber Valdez is a knucklehead, the guy can go 7. Yeah. Right. And those are the things that it bothers me. It concerns me that organizationally, we are teaching the same stuff, spin rate, high K rate, but then all of these guys, they're just walking the planet. Like, you can't have, I don't need more Freddie Peraltas up here. I'm sorry. Like, I think he's good, but I need guys to be able to give you length and be able to grind out games rather than throw their life out for 4 innings and can't give you nothing else. There has to be some type of organizational change, man. It's like we're just hitting our heads on the wall, just keep repeating the same stuff. So for him to say that there are people in the organization that have relayed to him that there are concerns that they have, that is major.
Yeah, I agree.
Major.
I absolutely agree with you.
That is not a little thing. That is a big problem.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I kind of agree with Ernest too. I think I'm a little bit more concerned with the hitting philosophy, especially if they're teaching that because clearly at the major league level, it's not working consistently. And if that's what they're teaching at the minor league level, I do not know how Benj and Ewing are coming up here and producing because, like, whatever they're telling these guys is not working. And for some reason, they, to our knowledge, refuse to change it. I do not get it, man. It is just, I'm hoping that I'm just going to be able to chalk this up to a bad season and a rough season, and we can get some stuff back on track next year. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Organizationally, it just feels a little rough. And again, like he mentioned, that's why I don't think David Stearns is getting fired at all. Because if you fire David Stearns, you're firing more than just David Stearns. You know what I mean? I think when Steve Cohen brought in Stearns, he did it to completely reshape and remap this organization.
Yeah, and I think we talked about it too, right? I think I have said it too, and I think you have said it. I think we've all said it that he needs to hire, if he's gonna keep Stearns, then let Stearns deal with the organizational stuff. Hire a bulldog general manager that has relationships around the league, that has relationships with agents, that knows how to be able to strike deals and be able to close deals in free agency. If you can be able to have that balance, then I'm okay with David Stearns doing what he's doing. I don't want David Stearns picking the groceries anymore. That's my biggest concern. free agency wise, I don't want him picking the groceries.
My only issue with that is if you're gonna bring in a GM to work under David Stearns, I feel like Ernest, I'm with you, man. I love my prospects. I have such a hard time trading most of them. I almost hyperventilated when we traded
keep
for
them
Freddie.
all except Vientos.
Yeah, well, they're not prospects anymore. But
get them gone.
My only concern is like when you're bringing in a GM, you're bringing in a GM to sign and trade guys. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're bringing in a GM, I can't imagine that they're not going to bring in a GM that's not just going to gel with what David Stearns believes is the philosophy. Because ultimately, if you're bringing in David Stearns to run the organization, like run the minors, run the day-to-day and all of that stuff, I'd imagine he's going to have to be the one to sign off on trades. And if he's, if you get a GM that's like, I want this guy, but Stearns is like, oh, I don't want to necessarily give that up. Are they going to butt heads? And David Stearns is the president of baseball operations, is probably going to get the final say. So, like, I don't know, like, if he hires a GM, the GM might just be a puppet that has to go do his media day at the start of every homestand. You know what I mean?
It's a good point. So, I guess, Nicole, Tom just laid that out. What do? We just sit here and just deal with David Stearns, and whatever his decision is, we just have to deal with it. Like I myself can't deal with another year of Carlos Mendoza. I can't do it. I cannot deal with another year of Brett Beatty. I cannot deal with another year of Mark Vientos. I do not want to deal with another year of Tyrone Taylor. I do not want to deal with a year with most of these guys that are on this roster. So if he's the one that's doing it, like, what hope do we have that we're going to actually turn this around, knowing that we've had 2 full years of a sample size of him in full control doing this?
Well, I hope that it's Steve Cohen. I know he's put full trust in David Stearns. But as a businessman, you have to kind of see what's right out in front of you, that a lot of things have not worked that David Stearns has done. So I feel like as like as a business as itself, like, you kind of have to see that there are problems here and how do we fix them. Does that necessarily mean that David Stearns gets fired?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that that's the answer, but I would definitely say you have to put more people around him. And even as you suggest, have a GM, because we've heard from past players that David Stearns does not know how to communicate well. So to kind of just help him, because if he's such a highly valued asset in the baseball world, and a guy that Steve Cohen waited for, that still has its own value, but possibly he's just not in the right position, or he's given too much responsibility and he's just not good at that aspect of it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that he's bad at everything. So I don't know. I feel like there has to be a lot in this. Granted, we'll see how the rest of the season plays out, but I think in the off season there has to be like a big table meeting. Okay, like, what are we gonna do next? Because this has to change.
Yeah.
We can't have this payroll. We can't have these players on this team and be a failure. So I think clearly Carlos Mendoza is gone, and his contract is expired anyway after this year. I do just find it interesting as a whole. I think I did mention it last week. Maybe there just wasn't any better option than it's felt like they had, because also too, Alex Cora told the Phillies that he wasn't available, so maybe the Mets possibly called in and it was the same type of thing. So it's like, well, we don't have anyone better. Let's just stick with Mendoza because he's here. And but just his, like, again last night, kind of, I feel like, lack of accountability.
It's typical Mendoza.
Yeah. Like when you have a player, a guy like Vientos, who has those mistakes and is not really, like, granted, like we discussed it, like, there's been moments like where he made some nice plays at first base and he's out of position, but to kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say delusional, but there are like, oh, I'm doing fine. Like, well, no, you just made two big mistakes in a game. You kind of have to get talked to and be like, hey, like, own up to your mistakes and possibly, you're benched the next day, whatever the case may be. I feel like he's just still too much of a player's person and is not that guy that, makes those difficult decisions. And I just don't see anything other than that from him. Does that mean that Carlos Mendoza is a bad baseball coach? No, I don't think he's fit for a manager, at least not right now in his, career. I know he did have some times as a bench coach with the Yankees. I don't know, maybe that's a better fit for him and he still has more to learn.
Third base coach. You can put him there.
Yeah, put him somewhere other than manager for the time being. I think he still has some stuff to learn and how to kind of talk to players a certain way. And you have to be your manager in New York, especially. Like, you have to have those conversations with players and be comfortable with having those conversations with players, because a player like Mark Vientos shouldn't be out there saying like he's all this and that when clearly there's problems.
Yeah. G Money Stack says, I've been hearing some of the Mets content creators talking about trading Francisco Lindor. It is a bad idea. It took the Mets years to find. Yeah, listen, G Money Stacks, we here wholeheartedly agree. You do not trade a Frankie Lindor. You do not. There are not 10 shortstops in the league that are better than him. There might not even be 5 shortstops in the league that are better than him. So no, we're not trading Frankie. And, he's going to be here until he retires. And that's just the way it goes. Because I can guarantee that if Lindor was healthy, I don't think that this offense is as bad as we've seen it, right? Especially the top of the lineup. Like, we understand that Bo Bichette had 4 hits today, but 4 hits today, 3 RBIs, but this guy is still batting like under the Mendoza line when it comes to runners in scoring position this season. Like, you need a Frankie Lindor because you don't have enough premium elite quality bats on this team. So
yeah,
who would you trade Francisco Lindor for? Prospects?
No.
So you have to now wait on more prospects to develop years down the line when you have a $750 million guy here that's in his early 20s or, mid 20s. But at some point, he's going to turn over to that age 30 very soon. And the clock is ticking. You don't want to keep turning your roster over for young players. You got to start having a combination of elite hitters, veterans, and young guys. That's how you win at the major league level. You do not win with all veterans. You do not win with all kids. You have to have a good balance and a good mix of everything. True. And, the Mets have to continue to spend. But the thing is, it's not about just spending on anybody. You have to spend the money the right way. And David Stearns has not spent the money the right way. It's not about the spending. We are the highest payroll team for the last 4 seasons. We don't spend the money the right way. That's the problem.
Yeah, trading Francisco Lindor is insane. I don't think that you would necessarily get the prospects back for it because of his age, because of how much money he's making, and the length left on the deal. I want good players on this team, not lottery tickets. I do like my prospects, but I don't want maybes. I want guys that are good. And when Francisco Lindor is on the field, he is good. The Mets, Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, and Bo Bichette have played 9 games together. I could promise that this offense, it might not be light years better. It would be better if Francisco Lindor was playing.
It gives you with those 3 playing every day, gives you a puncher's chance.
Yeah, absolutely. And the defense isn't an issue.
And exactly, because the Mets defense has not been poor this season. They've not been terrible. They've had their spots, but all in all, they're pretty solid. So, puncher's chance, give me that. Give me that.
100%.
You know what I mean? I think at this point, yes, there's a concern in regards to offensive depth, and maybe we got to go get a first baseman or whatever it is. But if we can go find a pitcher, that's where I think is going to be able to change this season. If you can find a stopgap, that's all you need. A stopgap that is not going to allow losing streaks to continue. Remember, we talked about this before the season. We thought that Peralta was going to be that guy for us, right?
Yeah.
That can halt losing streaks. It has not been that. And we have to find that guy. Can it be Nolan McLean in the second half of the season? You never know. He's hit a rookie wall a little bit, but you got to make the adjustment, and maybe he can. But I'm curious to see what's going on. We're gonna go ahead and talk about it right now. After I'm sure Tom wants to get a word in, but like they have to find out who they are within the next 2 weeks.
Yeah,
this is big. Go ahead, Tom.
No, I honestly, as you were saying that, I couldn't stop agreeing with you and totally lost my train of thought.
Yeah.
It just was like I had something, and then I was like, no, you're just making all really good points. So whatever I had to say is totally gone. I don't know what the hell
I stumped Tom. I love it. Let's talk about the Padres series before we get out of here, man. Who do they have lined up in regards to pitching for that series?
Let me take a look. You would have thought I would have had that by now.
It's fine. You're watching a Knicks game. I'm not going to kill you.
I can't help it. I'm really trying to not look up at the TV.
No. You watch it because I want to know what's happening. Are they winning?
Okay. It's 94-93 with a little over 2 minutes left.
Wow.
Wemby just got fouled.
We got a classic.
So tomorrow it's Lucas Giolito. No, wait. Oh, Mets are off tomorrow. I'm sorry. I was confused. Yeah. Christian Scott versus Michael King for Friday. Nolan McLean versus our old friend Griffin.
Armand got it. Scott versus King on Friday.
Yeah, and then McLean and Canning on Saturday.
Oh, my God.
And Sunday.
That's going to bother me.
Oh.
Griffin Canning?
He's got a 70 ERA and he's on.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, we'll make him look like Nolan Ryan.
No hitter on Saturday.
Yeah.
Loading.
And then Sean Manaea it looks like right now Sean Manaea is getting the start on Sunday. But I remember what I was going to say finally, actually, real quick. I agree with you that I think the Mets do need to target some pitching, but I really think whatever pitcher we bring in is going to be effed when he gives up 2 runs and this team can't score. I understand today is different, and I understand we've been seeing the bats wake up like a tad bit.
Yeah.
But it is really concerning that I see a pitcher give up 2 runs, and I think the game's probably over. That's just it's unexcusable.
So would you prefer them to go get a bat then?
I'd prefer they get both, but I don't know how they do that.
I mean, if you get both, then you're really going to have to tap into the minor league system.
I mean, it kind of depends on what
you can't do it.
It kind of depends. I guess it depends on what, because I don't even really know what's available at this point, right, to be quite honest with you.
It might be because like remember last year, pitching was at a premium last year at the deadline.
Yeah.
Like they were having there was high tags on guys that you couldn't even be able to, even remotely get close to without giving up like top, 3 of your top 30 prospects.
That's why I'm afraid that's why I'm afraid that they're just gonna stick it out, maybe make one minor move if they're even close to the last wild card spot, because like how much of your minor league depth are you gonna want to trade for a maybe we'll make the playoff season? You know what I mean? We'll know in June. We'll know. Like Ernest said, we're gonna know by the end of this month.
I think it might be. Armand said they might have to take a contract back. I mean,
I'll do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Fuck it. Like we have the ability to do so. But I'm like I told you guys, I am okay with trading Peralta. I am okay with it now because if we trade Peralta, you're gonna be able to get some premium prospects back. I'm sure, just like Dove said, you'll probably get a top 100 guy. And the beauty about it is that if the CBA does, if they're able to ratify that contract and ratify the deal, then now you're gonna have baseball. And you can be able to go get Freddie back if you wanted to.
That's true, but if they're bad, like if the June swoon comes and June is much like we've seen most of the season, then I'm behind it. But if they're still within a puncher's chance of a wild card spot, I just can't do it. Even if it means you're getting a top 100 prospect back, I just can't do it because I can't trade from a position that I'm already thin at. Like we need even if you can get a prospect for Freddie, we need somebody to pitch. Like we need somebody, and I'm not trading Freddie to give David Peterson a lease on life in the rotation. You know what I mean?
Singer didn't look bad in minor.
I think he had a good start, a bad start.
He had a good start.
99-95.
Oh,
oh my God. There's like a minute left.
Knicks are up 6 with 37 seconds to go.
This is bullshit. So listen, if any of you have Verizon Fios, if Fios tries to sell you on the Wi-Fi boxes, don't get it. Don't get it. I'm on a delay. Like the game's delayed. I get alerts on my phone before it happens on the television. Do not get it.
That's terrible. Listen, these Knicks are tough. We're told you they're about to win. They possibly will win 12 straight games.
That's crazy. Mets, watch the Knicks. Watch the Knicks and learn how to be a winning team.
Exactly. Watch the good. Go call Leon Rose and he'll show you how to be able to build a team.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
How do you guys feel, real quick? Because I know we mentioned it before in our text chat. How do you guys think with Polanco and Alvey coming back, it'll make any sort of impact on this lineup?
I think it will. I think here's the thing, right? Polanco's a really good player. I think because we haven't really got to see it because he's been hurt. Like we really don't realize how good of a hitter this guy really is.
Yeah.
He's really good. You know what I mean? And when you throw that guy in a lineup like that, it's going to make a difference. So yeah, I think the addition of Polanco will definitely help. Alvarez, I'm a little bit more on the fence about just because he was hitting a little, he was early in the season, he was hitting, then he went on a little skid and then he got hurt, right? But there is still potential there. So a combination of both of them, I think it definitely is going to make an impact. And just like our Money Stack said, Armand said, Jared Young, you can be able to platoon them both at DH. I'm okay with that. I think it's going to be able to keep them fresh, rotate them in there, and not put too much pressure on Polanco as well, coming back off of injury. So it's definitely going to help. And when Lindor comes back, that's the biggest challenge for me because he's going to come back this month. It looks like more of the middle of the month. Is how are they going to be able to figure out the lineup? Benj has been playing phenomenal in the leadoff spot. You got to keep him there. We talked about this even before they decided to make this decision. Benj is your leadoff guy. Yeah. Benj is your leadoff guy for this season, but going forward, it will be AJ Ewing. Yeah. Right? So where do you stick Lindor? You got to put Lindor in the second hole, in my opinion. That means that you now put Bichette. If you want to have him clean up or 5, that's cool. But that's the balance of the lineup that I think is going to be able to put a lot of pressure on pitching staffs. Because right now, this lineup is not putting a lot of pressure on, especially because Bichette is taking such bad at bats. Lindor won't take as bad as the bats like Bichette does. And Polanco the same way. So I think that there's definitely some potential there. Yeah, Armand said it best. Benj, Lindor, Soto. I like that.
Same.
I like that particular 3. And then you can be able to put Polanco, clean up, or Bichette. You can flip-flop them however you want to do that. So what do we think? It's a 3-game set with San Diego. Do we think that we can win the series?
Yeah. Oh, I want to take a look at the pitching matchup one more time. I need to do that. So we got a guy we got Michael King, 4-4, 3.18 ERA. Christian Scott did look good in his last start. I'm not afraid of Griffin Canning, even though I should be. 7.16 ERA, 0-4 means Nolan Ryan. I think they can win the series. I think they can. I don't know. I think they ran into a buzzsaw with Seattle because Seattle's just killing everybody. Like their offense is stacked.
Yeah.
I think the Mets can hang with the Padres.
Guys,
Especially if we get Polanco back. If Polanco comes back this series and can produce even a little bit, I'll take it.
Is that what they said that he's projected to come back for the San Diego?
I thought
series?
they said he was coming back on this road trip.
Okay. So it might not be it after San Diego, where did they go?
I think they come home.
They come home?
This is for if we can celebrate about anything, this is the last West Coast trip of the year.
Yeah, the last late game of the season, which we like.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. All right. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Okay. You're my friends, and I have to just put it out there. Every time Tatis comes to bat, I'm gonna be rooting for him.
Don't do that.
He's my
not
guy.
here. He
hit a home run the other day. I don't hear nobody talk about hitless streak, home run streak, whatever. Okay, he's gonna get hot, and I don't want him to get hot against the Mets, but he might just do it. I'm just saying. What do you want me to do? Okay, what do you want me to do?
Not root for a Padre. That's what I want you to do.
I'm sorry. Okay, I like the guy. What do you want me to do?
I like him too. I just don't like him more than I like the Mets.
Same. But
so I'm not going to root for him.
If he does hit tanks, I'm gonna be like, all right. Well, that's Tatis. It's fine.
He's not coming here either.
Why not?
Because he's not coming here. They're not trading him.
Why?
Because of the Padres.
If we give him 3 of the top 10 prospects, we'll get him.
No.
Yes.
No. I don't want to do that.
Clifford, Santucci, Will Watson, take them all.
That's what you should have asked Ernest that. I bet you he would have said no.
I should have asked him that. Yeah.
Next time, when if he comes back for the trade deadline, you should ask him.
Yeah, I'll get him. Knicks win by 10. Wow.
It is probably pandemonium outside the Garden right now.
Insane. I don't even want to see it. Like, these people are destroying the city, and I love it. Okay? Anarchy in the streets.
Yeah.
That's what you want. The Knicks go to San Antonio and steal game 1. Come on, man. Come on.
What a time to be alive.
What?
What
This
a time
is
to be alive.
insane.
I just want more. I want more basketball tomorrow.
This is insane. The run that they're on right now.
I can't. I just can't believe it.
This is like, I'm not. Trust me, I'm not even a Knicks fan, and I love this for y'all. I love it
because you're in the city. You're here.
Yeah,
you get to feel it. You get a front row seat.
Where I grew up here, right? I saw Patrick Ewing get dogged by the media, dogged by fans. Oh, he can't win the big one. Who did he have? Who did he have other than himself?
Nobody.
No one. Can you imagine if Ewing had a Pippen? He'd have had to.
Probably. I wasn't old enough to really remember the Ewing years.
I'm telling you, man, they were great. They were absolutely great. The Knicks were the team. Now, I wouldn't say they were the team in the 90s because that's Chicago. But, when you talk about an underrated team that was 55 wins every season, 50 plus wins every season, defensive monsters, nobody wanted to come to play in New York because they were so tough. Knicks were tough. And they should have got at least one championship in 1994 when they lost to the Rockets in Game 7. They should have got that one. But yeah, it's a great time to be alive for Knicks fans. So salute. Final things before we get out of here. Any final words, family? What are we doing? Any thoughts? Concerns?
No, I just I don't know. I just don't like the Padres, so there's nothing I could say.
Yeah,
I hope they win, but
I think that's universal, man. I think everybody just doesn't like the Padres.
I like their uniforms.
I like the uniforms, and
mustard and mud just looks awesome.
Jackson Merrill, I like him too. I just want to tell you that I like him. Okay,
yeah.
I like Tatis. All right, I like their players. Okay, I'm sorry. What do you want me to do?
I like the city, hate the team. No,
City's nice.
I think it's my favorite Californian city.
Yeah.
I think they could take 2 or 3 from the Padres, come home, and I don't know what their homestand looks like. I'd have to go look, but they're coming home.
Cardinals.
The Cardinals, yeah. Oh, and then the Braves come to town. Look,
we're gonna stomp on the Braves. I'm telling you right now. The Mets do weird things. They'll go ahead and can't beat certain teams, and then the Braves come to town, and we're gonna dog walk them. I'm telling you.
I
right
hope
now.
so. Your lips to God's ears, man.
If they got a top 3 offense. I don't give a damn if Mr. Olsen is not going to cover off the ball. I don't care. Okay, we got him. Okay, we got him.
I like this confidence.
I ain't worried about it.
Your boy Jared Young is gonna go deep.
Yeah,
twice.
I think he will. Okay, I think he will. Maybe even Mark Vientos will go deep.
Yeah, maybe.
Knows? Right? Who knows? Now, listen. We are at the end of the show where I gotta leave. I gotta leave with something. Okay, listen. What do you want me to do? There's only one person that is going to be on his mission to Mars, and he's been such a consistent traveler on this show. And there's only one person. I'm sorry, man, but I got to get you. Mark Vientos, come on, man. Listen, I can't keep doing this to you, okay? You are literally like advertising for the aliens to come and get you, right? Like it's disclosure day for Mark Vientos.
Yeah, it is.
And he's literally telling you, all right, like, listen, yeah, okay, I've played great. Of course, it doesn't matter about the errors that I have at first base. It doesn't matter about the bad at bats that I've been having. It doesn't matter. I'm still great. I'm still pitching. I'm still playing great. What do you care? What do I care? What do you mean? What we care? We want to see good baseball from you. Stop kicking the ball all over the damn diamond. That's what we want. Take good at bats and, I don't know, have some humbleness about you because the team sucks, right? The team's not playing well. I would rather you be ornery and miserable than have this oblivious confidence about you. I don't want it because you know who else is confident? The aliens that are saying, we want this guy because if he's confident about failing, he's definitely going to be confident about us being able to take him up here and doing whatever the hell we want to do with him, right? He's always going to be able to be positive and say everything's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, I don't have freedom, but it's fine. We're in a new planet. I'm good. I got my spacesuit on. I'm all right. I'm safe. So Mark Vientos, disclosure day for you. Make sure that you pack your bags and you head to Mars and take Brett Beatty with you. Okay, it's a package deal. Don't just take yourself, take him with you. Okay, we want Jared Young. I apologize to Jared Young. You can stay. Take Beatty with you. So that is Mission to Mars for this week. I'm hoping that nobody has their mission to Mars next week. I'm hoping. I don't want to send people out there. I don't want to do it. So, hopefully we can have a good week. Everybody plays well. Nobody says anything stupid. So I don't have to do this segment. Okay. Any other words? Final words? We're good?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
I'm good, yeah.
Listen, everybody in the chat, I appreciate you. Armand, you are the man. Armand said that I'll be at a Cards game next Thursday, my last game of the season. Listen, I respect you, man. I respect you for continuing to go see those Mets. Okay, you deserve a medal, sir. You deserve it. Any Met fan that continues to go out there and spend their hard-earned dollars, pay that $50 parking, buy $40 beers, and God bless you. God bless you, because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Jasmine got me to go to the stadium for her birthday. That is my last game. Unless you guys want to go, I'll go. Begrudgingly, but I'll go. Okay?
We'll figure out a game.
Yeah, I think we should. I
think I'm going on the 13th.
Yeah.
I think I'm going, but we have to figure out. We have to figure out at least one game.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll turn the season around. We'll bring the luck.
You never know. Nicole, I'm gonna allow you to be coordinator of that trip. All right. So if you want to get us in the bleeders, I'm gonna lead it. Okay. I don't do well up top. I don't like to flagging the planes. But if you guys want to be there, that's fine. I will take it for the team, and I will sit there with my, stushness about me, and because I'm an elitist. I am, okay? I've never been up there. I just want to let you know, okay? I've been to hundreds of games, never been up there.
Sit with us, Normie.
Yeah.
It's a good view. It's a good view.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a good. You can see everything.
Yeah. All right.
No blind spots. No nothing. I mean,
I
unless
never
you're
have
sitting
any
left
blind
field,
spots,
but don't
I'm
sit
too
left
close
field.
to have blind spots. Okay.
You can't see the foul line like we can. You see everything.
You know what? That's a good point. We could be able to say, "Hey, that's fair." Oh man. Until next week, stay safe, stay cool. Peace.